Today we're going to be talking about a tool called engaged versus performing. We're talking about employees here. We're asking about engaged employees versus performing employees. Let me make the distinction for you. A performing employee gives to get. They get from the company things they like. They get a nice salary. They like that. They get to work in that town. That's where their family is. They like working in that town. They like the working environment they have. They like the colleagues they work with. They like the projects they do. They get all this. And as a very decent individual, they must give. So they give the best effort they can. They are a performing employee. They perform as well as they can. They give so that they can get. Their purpose is to get. Get is the reason. Giving is the means. They're working because they get. They give so that they can get. In contrast, an engaged employee gets to give. See, this employee, they love what they do. I save babies. I help put a man in space. I keep all the traffic lights in the city running. I lead this project. They love the giving. Now they have to pay bills, so they need to get something. But getting isn't the reason, it's giving the reason. Getting is incidental. They love the giving. They get to give. In contrast, the performing employee, they give to get. Now, if another employer showed up that from whom this performing employee could get more, the chances are the performing employee is going to consider that opportunity because they can get more. Whereas with the engaged employee, getting more is not going to allure them to move jobs. You know what's going to allure them to move jobs? If they can give more. Did you hear about that new neonatal care unit in that hospital? Wouldn't it be lovely to work in that neonatal care unit? Oh wow, wouldn't it be lovely to work with those little babies? They are excited about the giving. They're more likely to move to that hospital because they can give more than they're going to go to another employer from whom they can get more. Engaged employee is all about the giving. So ask yourself, what would you prefer? Would you prefer a performing employee or an engaged employee? Now, of course, all of us, we would love an engaged, performing employee. Yeah, that would be the nice one. And of course, none of us is going to tolerate a non-performing, disengaged employee. Those are the easy cases. Let's look at the difficult cases. Would you rather have a performing employee struggling to be engaged, or would you prefer an engaged employee struggling to perform? Now, those are the difficult cases. If you think about it, you'll find that as much as you like a performing employee, if they're not engaged, they're going to create more problems in your company. Others are going to get disenfranchised. Even though the individual is performing, they create a sense of cancerous growth in the company, of disengagement. There is a cost with the performing employee that is struggling to be engaged. Not only is there a cost, it is difficult to actually train this person to become engaged. You see, in contrast, an engaged employee struggling to perform usually means that they don't have the skills to perform, or they don't have the trade, the tools, the background. So you can educate them, you can grow them. This person, engaged employee who's struggling to perform, they can learn the skills. a performing employee struggling to be engaged, it's usually an attitude problem. You know, I have this little quote I use all the time. I say to people, you know, I talk to CEOs and I tell them, you know, if you have an employee who does not have the skill sets needed to do the job, give them a year to learn the skill set. If you have an employee who does not have the attitude needed to do the job, give them the entire weekend. Because if it doesn't change in a weekend, it's not going to change. Tell the employee, take the weekend off. You know, take Friday off, have a long weekend, go think about it. When you come back Monday morning, let me know. Are you on the bus or are you off the bus? In fact, I jokingly tell CEOs, put up a picture of a bus on the wall, put up a step stool, have them walk up the stool and pretend like they're going into the bus, because they make a conscious choice. It's a choice you make. It's not a skill issue. A performing employee that is not engaged, it's a choice the individual makes. Force the individual to make that choice. If they choose not to be engaged, as valuable as their performance might be, you might be better off without them. In contrast, an engaged employee that is struggling to perform, give them the time to learn the skills. And if they can't learn the skills, move them into the right job where they have the skills. Because that engaged employee can add huge value if they can perform, if they have the skills to perform the job. Would you rather have a performing employee or an engaged employee? Ask yourself in your company, but in fact, go through the key individuals in your company, or maybe all of the employees in your company, and ask yourself, is this person a performing employee or an engaged employee?